You change the subject.
Good.
What? You're going to record me pointing out how you can't debate? Fine. You can't debate.
Can't do anything, right?
Never said you can't do anything. This goes back to what I'm talking about. You don't stay on the subject. You put words in people's mouths. You can't focus. You go to extremes with every sentence that comes up, too.
James is running away from the flower person on his screen.
It's a monster. And it's poisonous. So I was trying not to get poisoned.
He started yelling at me about stuff, so
I didn't
decided
yell at you
to
about
record
anything.
him.
See, how is that yelling when I do it, but not yelling when you do it?
I don't raise my voice.
I didn't raise my voice.
And I don't make people feel scared.
I didn't raise my voice. And if you feel scared, that's on you. Not on me. I did nothing to scare you. Just saying.
It's getting cold in here. I think we need to turn up the heat.
And the point is you would do well in a political sphere where people actually go with that whole extremist fucking one point to another hyperbolic kind of arguments, but in an actual debate setting you would do terrible, where people actually use critical thinking and structure their arguments and, lead with premises and then follow with the conclusion, whereas you lead with the conclusion and have no premises for any of your arguments most of the time. And it's just... And I try to point that out, and you just get angry at me, and it's just like, I'm trying to flesh out your argument and figure out what you're talking about, and you just don't care.
I don't want to have
you
an
just
argument,
want to. You just want to be
conversation.
right. No, you just want to be right.
My viewpoint, I am right, and your viewpoint, you are right. I mean, more than one
that's
person
not what
can
we're
be
talking.
right.
That's not what we're talking about, though. It's really not what we're talking about. Like, how are we constantly having two separate conversations? I don't understand this.
Because it's not really, there's no debates or arguments. Someone thinks one thing, another person thinks another thing.
We're having a debate right now about... Okay, that made... whatever. So I guess your plan is to try and win the argument by saying as much nonsense as possible till I just get frustrated and shut up.
Not trying to win any argument. There's no argument to be had.
There is an argument. We're actually having a debate right now, whether you like it or not. You actually started this and preceded it, and now you are recording it.
Yeah. Because you keep talking about stuff, so I want to be able to review it later.
Because they keep talking about what?
How I'm just not good at stuff, and...
I never
how I'm
said
not good at
anything about...
debating.
No. See, this is what I'm talking about. You put words in my mouth. The only thing I said you're not good at is actual debating. You would do well in the and I actually led with the fact that you would do well in the political type of stuff. Like if you had to get up and argue against Donald Trump or Ted Cruz or something, you would do amazing.
By someone who has
because he would go one way with the hyperbole, and you would take the same point and go the opposite way with the hyperbole, and you would both wind up at the farthest extremes of a subject.
There's nothing wrong
You would
with
do really well in that arena where they're not talking about facts or reality. They're talking about feelings and emotions and their knee-jerk reaction to stuff. You would do amazing there. But in an actual thing where you need to use critical thinking is what I'm saying. I'm saying you need to learn to critically think. You want to take that as an insult, that's on you.
I don't think that as an insult. It's just...
I think everyone should take a critical thinking class. Everyone in America should take a critical thinking course. You would have less problems politically and economically. There would be less people following idiots like Donald Trump, and I suspect there'd be a few less, not that I have anything against him, but there'd be a few less Bernie Sanders followers as well. Because Sanders is getting votes the same way Trump is, by going to the farthest extreme in his party as he can. Extreme left wing is socialism, extreme right wing is fascism. Trump gets into play, we will become a fascist country eventually. If people like him continually get voted in.
Only in there for 8 years.
And the exact opposite of that exact spectrum is socialism. Whether you like it or not, right-wingers, the extremism on your side is fascism, just like the extremism on the left is socialism.
What is fascism?
Fascism is where your whole country is led by and for the corporation.
Yeah, okay.
That's what fascism is.
I agree with that.
Where they remove individual freedoms and stuff like that in favor for, that's where you get trying to think of a good example that someone would recognize, but I'm drawing a blank.
How they say corporations have feelings too, and all that stuff that they were trying to push.
Yeah.
Since 2008.
Citizens United was a good step towards fascism. It was an amazing victory for fascism, actually. Not that fascism's terrible. I mean, if some concepts behind fascism weren't terrible, just like some concepts behind socialism aren't terrible. It's the extremists who use these buzzwords and try to make them a curse word. The concepts aren't as awful as people pretend that they are. I mean, yes, they're both failed economic. They're both terrible ideas in their own right. They neither of them will work long term. But that being said, and all things being equal, they're really.
Did you like dinner?
You just can't deny about them. Dinner was good. Yes.
Very good. What was the best part of your day?
Getting out of work.
What was the worst part of your day?
Working.
What did you do to help someone today?
Worked.
I ask James this every day. At the dinner table is usually when I ask him, or if I'm eating at the dinner table and he's eating at his computer or something, I'll just be like, what's the best part of your day? What's the worst part of your day? What did you do to help someone today? They're open-ended questions, so this way the males in your life will talk to you about things that they do and the way that they think. I actually have paperwork from the counselor, because I go to counseling, for us to fill out.
You don't go to counseling. You go to this place to try and get free shit, and they try to convert you to Christianity.
Okay, well, they give us stuff for our daughter as well. But you get to go and you talk about anything that you want to talk about. I've, of course, already explained this before. And they listen to you and they give you suggestions and ideas. It's just, every woman will agree with this. You have to have someone that you're able to just say anything to.
Every woman will agree.
And counseling is a great outlet to be able to, trust me. Women out there, you'll probably agree with me, right? They always say that a rich woman has no one to really complain to except for her counselor that she pays. So,
who says that?
Just because a woman's rich doesn't mean she doesn't still have problems.
No, seriously, who says that?
It's an old saying. It's kind of like Chatty Cathy and stuff like that.
Okay.
Rich woman, the only person you can complain to is the
never
rich
heard
counselor.
That before.
Really?
No, yeah, really.
No, it's an old saying.
That is news to me.
Kind of like what I tell you, like your beliefs shape your reality and stuff like that, and you can't change other people's facts. It comes from the same era.
Yeah, but none of those things mean anything.
To me, they do.
I mean, yeah, I guess your beliefs shape your perception of reality.
That's a good way to put it.
But it doesn't actually change reality.
That's why I said your reality.
Your beliefs have no effect on reality.
Okay,
at all.
But that's why I said your reality. They change your personal.
Well, there's this overbloated misconception that because you feel some way, it doesn't actually change anything. Mm-hmm. All it does is change your feelings on something, and your feelings are inherently meaningless in the large scheme of things. So
to me, feelings are everything.
That drives me up a fucking wall when I hear people say stuff like that.
I know it does. I don't know why you chose to be with me forever when you don't like the way I talk or think or do things.
No, I deal with empirical data. If it cannot be verified or guaranteed in some way, shape, or form, I could care less. It needs to be tangible. It needs to be something I can measure. You want me to care about it?
So yeah, I'm going to make copies, actually, of the paperwork because we only have one solitary copy of it. So I'm going to make 2 extra copies. And then I'm going to have James fill out his copy. I'm going to fill out my copy, and we're going to compare notes, hopefully. I have counseling.
I'm not planning on filling out any copies of anything. What are we talking about?
I had counseling on the 8th, and I have counseling in 2 weeks, so that's the 22nd. And so that's when I need to fill out and hand it in by. So hopefully James will be compliant and fill out his end of the paperwork that he needs to fill out. So this way we can compare notes. I can see what he's thinking on paper. Instead of just inside of his own head. James constantly is trying to convince me that I'm crazy. And that I should be in an institution.
Yes, constantly trying to convince you that you're crazy.
I don't know why. But
nothing to do with the fact that you tend to do crazy things.
Like wanting to do my homework for counseling? How's that crazy?
But that's not what I was referring to.
Oh. And what are you referring
That's not
to?
what you're referring to when I say that I call you crazy either, actually. So I have no idea.
Okay, the last time he called
what
me
kind of
crazy,
disingenuous crap you're pulling.
it was snowing outside and it had just started snowing. He wanted to go down to Enterprise. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll go to Enterprise first. But I had already made a meeting to pick up hangers from Marshall's.
Yeah,
And
that was right before the big blizzard, and you wanted to
everyone was
drive
still
out
on
with
the
our
road.
daughter to the middle of nowhere to get
It's right down the
3
street.
hangers.
And the
yeah,
next day,
that was a little crazy.
when it was
And
inches and inches
what
of snow on the
happened?
ground, James
And hold
was
on,
like,
hold
oh, I
on,
could
hold
go
on, hold
out.
on. What happened when we went to Enterprise? I
couldn't
wound up
get the
leaving
car.
because it was snowing too badly. And then instead of driving home, which would have been the smart thing to do.
That's not what happened.
Yeah, that is what happened.
No.
I wound up leaving because it was taking too long.
No, we wound up leaving
Okay,
without a
then
car because we couldn't get the car that day.
We
Because
could have
our
got no.
insurance
We
and
could have
stuff
got.
were-
We could have
wasn't
got.
in,
We could have
and
gotten
we
the
were
car that day.
going to pay
We could have-
$20 a day.
We could have gotten the car that day. We did not have to pay the $20.
Well, according to him, that night we had to.
We did
because
not
he
have
wasn't
to
able
at
to get.
all. You were not paying attention. There was no requirement on us
Seatbelt.
paying it. It was a suggestion,
And we told him we couldn't do that,
and
so
it
we
was
came back on
taking too
Monday.
long because we were trying to get an
They
answer.
were closing, honey.
Okay. Do you want to deal with the facts of what actually happened, or are you just going to tell your opinion on the facts? Because what actually happened is we were there. The guy suggested paying $20. I told them I wasn't going to pay the $20 because I shouldn't have to pay anything for the rental, because the whole reason I need a rental is because their client hit me. Then I said we would talk to the other people to see if they'll cover it because I'm not going to pay the extra money.
Mm-hmm.
There was too much quibbling back and forth. No one was sure. No one could come up with a solid answer. We couldn't get in touch with certain people, and I got to the point where it was too much trouble. And the whole time I'm going through this crap, I'm watching the snow come down in blankets outside. I decided it's not worth sitting here for another hour, half an hour, whatever it's going to fucking take when we have to drive out to the middle of nowhere to get 35 cents worth of fucking hangers because you refuse to let me buy them online, $1,000 at a shot.
Wasn't the middle
We
of
left
nowhere,
because it was
right
taking
down the
too
street.
long and it was becoming dangerous for us to stay at
Everyone
Enterprise.
else was still on the road.
I don't fucking care about everyone else. It wasn't me driving on the road that I was scared of. It was everyone else that was still on the road that scared me.
Okay, whatever.
Did you see the dumb shit people were doing that night? Did you see the accidents we passed on the way?
No.
We passed an accident on 309. I pointed it out. I said, that's why I don't want to be driving right now. How do you not remember that?
I don't remember an accident on the road.
I pointed out the flashing fucking
I
red
was
lights.
sitting in the back seat with Karina.
You saw the accident too.
Okay.
Oh, good lord.
I was sitting in the back seat with Karina. You were all worried
It was
because
literally
you
right
wouldn't
by,
go straight
right
across
by
by the
Broad
mall.
Street and 309. Right as we got on 309. Accident.
I don't know. I mean,
Whatever.
it was literally like Marshall's is right across the street from the mall. He could have went into the mall parking lot and went right down the road and made a
Through
left.
the blizzard that we were getting. I could have done all of these things through
But he
the
made a
blizzard.
big deal about it, and he had to go down 309. He was like, that's not the way I wanted to go home. I'm like, there's Wegmans right there. And he's like, where's Wegmans? I'm like, right
Why couldn't
in
we go
front of
home the way I
you.
wanted to go home? Because there was an accident.
No. You said there was an accident by Broad Street and 309. But what I'm talking about is
I
across
said there were
the
several accidents for starters, actually.
Okay, well, whatever.
If you rewind the video, you'll see. I said there were accidents. We passed like 2 of them on the way.
Okay, fine.
I pointed out the one.
Alright.